Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Bailey Braun, and we are almost at that time of year. Daylight saving time is ahead of us, so I wanted to start off and show you some of your daylight hours. But before we get started, we have a lot of winter weather on the way, both for southeast and even just a little bit of lingering impacts for south central. But the rest of the state can expect more of those cold temperatures to return like we saw last week and even the week before. So brace for more cold air to return. So as we get started, like I mentioned, I wanted to bring up our sunlight data because you might notice something. These hours are just shifted back 1 hour. So we will gain up to about 12.5 hours of that daylight for Anchorage by the time that spring solstice or the spring equinox rolls around. So we have a few more weeks of that, but it is meteorological spring, so that means that we're officially recording our data for the spring season. Now, of course, check out those daylight times. Most of the sunrises across the state from south central into the interior nearly at 8:30 in the morning, but don't worry, in just about 2 weeks we will be back to those sunrises of about 7:45 in the morning. So get ready for more of that, and also get ready for more of these longer evenings and shorter mornings. Now, I wanted to start off and show you your Anchorage time lapse from today with that ceremonial start for the Iditarod. You can just see all the people swelling the streets of downtown for the Iditarod ceremonial start, and then they took it down, and then people just came right back for the downtown areas that Running with the Reindeer moved through. So pretty exciting. It's really cool to see how the day progressed with all of those people enjoying their days. And of course, in South Central, temperatures slightly warmer than what we've been feeling, especially from last week when we were sitting in single digits and even overnight lows in the negatives. We're back up into nearly 20 degrees for those temperatures, and that high today reaching just above 20 degrees. So we're back up to those warm temperatures, but just as we got here, we are losing those warmer temperatures just as fast as we got them. So across the state with our weather alerts, we do have a few underway, mostly for those coastal regions. But you might also notice that southeast does have quite a few of these warnings as well, including high wind advisories, but we also have some winter weather advisories underway for southeast. Now, for most of these coastlines, you may notice the highlighted red. That's going to be for blizzard warnings, but that's mostly just for those stronger wind gusts up to about 45 miles per hour, even up to 60 miles per hour up in the North Slope. So western Alaska gusts up to about 45 miles per hour, and for the North Slope, that's where we're looking at gusts just a little stronger at 60 miles per hour. Now, one thing that I wanted to talk about is, of course, with these strong wind gusts, these are the winds that we saw today, but you might notice those yellow lines passing through. This reflects our jet stream, and this shows that we've got that northerly flow where we're bringing in more of that Arctic air. So that means, unfortunately, we're going to see a return in those colder temperatures like we had last week and the week before. Temperatures are going to sit about 10 to 20 degrees colder than normal for western Alaska, even into the interior as this week progresses. But these wind gusts from today, 41 miles per hour in Nome and up to 48 miles per hour in Juneau, and even into Ketchikan, 52 miles per hour. So you're noticing some stronger wind gusts, especially into southeast, but obviously most of those stronger winds are located in the Aleutians and into western Alaska. But I wanted to bring some attention into southeast Alaska. Okay, sorry about that. I'm a little sick if you can't tell, so had to take a break there for a second, but check out those wind gusts in southeast Alaska. Wind gusts up to 51 miles per hour in Haines, sorry, and 56 miles per hour in Sitka. We're looking at some strong winds pushing through the region for today and continuing into tomorrow as well. So brace for those stronger winds, especially mixed with that precipitation. It definitely adds to that reduced visibility. Obviously, as a result of these stronger winds, we do have that wind advisory underway, as well as these high wind warnings. We also have that winter weather advisory underway for Juneau and Yakutat. That's going to be for snowfall up to 4 to 6 inches tonight into tomorrow. So brace for more of that winter weather pushing through central portions of Southeast, with rain underway for the southern portions. Okay, I apologize for keep cutting the audio. I don't want to cough into the microphone. Again, I'm a little sick, so bear with me. Just trying to get you your information while I can. But yeah, for central portions of the Panhandle, 4 to 6 inches of snow is expected, with just a little bit less, about 3 to 5 inches for surrounding areas of central Southeast, but then areas from Sitka down to Ketchikan, that's where you're likely to get more of that rainfall, with these temperatures sitting above that freezing threshold. So lots of rainfall underway for most of the Panhandle, but as you can tell, most of that precipitation is lingering for Southeast. It's pushing away for South Central, but we will see a little bit more of that snow for tomorrow morning. It's not really going to accumulate much, though. Now the rest of the state can expect to see more clear skies pushing through, but that also means that colder air is returning from western Alaska into the interior. So again, just lots of wintry precip for Southeast for tomorrow and through the weekend. For South Central, you'll see a little bit of snowflakes in the morning hours. This is true for the interior as well, but that's going to clear out by the early afternoon. So it's not really going to stick around for very long, mostly for the overnight hours tonight and into the early portions of tomorrow. For, again, Southeast or South Central and the interior, but clear skies by the afternoon. Southeast is going to hold on to these winter conditions all the way through tomorrow and even into next week. So this is a look right now at Juneau with these wet roads underway, and of course temperatures sitting a little bit warmer. That's when you get a little bit more of that rainy transition for the day, but a lot of that snow is going to push through in the overnight hours. Snow model trend for tomorrow is really interesting. I wanted to give a little bit of context because right now model data are showing between about 5-ish inches to about 10 and even over 10 inches by Sunday afternoon. However, I want you to know that although we are seeing this on the models, we know that those high temperatures are going to reach just above freezing for Southeast, especially for Juneau. So that means that a lot of this is going to have more of a rainy mix. So that accumulation is not really going to get that high. Again, it's only expected to be about 4 to 6 inches. At most, you may see about 8 inches, but you have to involve more of the context so that you can tell when you get that rainfall versus when you get that snowfall with these warmer temperatures. With our avalanche conditions, though, I did want to bring this up because for southeast, you're getting a lot of rain and snow and just a lot of fluctuation in those temperatures. So that means avalanche danger is going to be very high, especially for Juneau. There already was an avalanche on Thane Road, but this is also true for South Central. Avalanche conditions for Girdwood to Turnagain Pass are considerable in those higher elevations. Just above tree line is moderate, but still be ready. Just try to stay away from backcountry areas if you can, because a lot of that new snow adds on to that snowpack, doesn't bond very well with the old snow, and that's when you get more of those landslides and those avalanches. Now for southeast, brace for more of that wet weather underway for you. You're going to see those overnight lows for the central portions and even north to get just below freezing and even into the 20s, so that's when you see a little bit more of that snowfall, but then those highs reaching just above that freezing threshold, and that's whenever you're going to get more of that rain. So brace for wet weather tomorrow regardless, all across the entire region. That's going to carry all the way into Monday and even Tuesday. Into the interior, you may see a few flakes in the morning hours, but it's going to clear up by the afternoon. Partly cloudy skies by the afternoon, especially for Healy and Cope. That's where the areas are staying a little bit dry, but high temperatures sitting above zero, so you're still in the positives with those single digits. Temperatures are going to start to cool, though, quite a bit in the next coming days, so brace for more of these cold temperatures, dropping about 10 to 20 degrees below normal, especially for Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'll show you that with that 7-day coming up. Across the north slope, this is where we're seeing temperatures still pretty frigid and still below normal. We do have that winter storm watch. This is going to stay in place until Wednesday, and same with that blizzard warning that's just peeking out on the eastern coastline of the Beaufort coast. And so that's going to be for gusts up to 45 and even 60 miles per hour. So brace for more strong winds. But that's going to add to reduced visibility, blowing that snow that's already on the ground, but otherwise you're staying mostly dry with those mostly cloudy skies. Western Alaska, including Savunga, I haven't forgotten about you. You're staying mostly dry, mostly sunny skies for areas along the western coastline, but for Savunga and for Gamble, that's where you're a little more partly cloudy, high temperatures sitting single digits for Gamble, and McGrath hitting just zero into Nome, but just sitting below zero through the rest of the region. You're going to see a drop in temperatures through this week as well, but partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies to start your work week. You will see a little bit of those stronger wind gusts carrying over in the overnight hours tonight and carrying into tomorrow morning. We do have those blizzard warnings underway, so just be ready for that. But again, brace for those temperatures to drop in the upcoming days. For the Aleutian chain, mostly cloudy skies across the region, but once you get to the central islands and even up the Alaska Peninsula, that's whenever you are going to see a little bit more of that snowfall, but also stronger wind gusts up to about 40 miles per hour. High temperatures are still sitting pretty chilly, especially into Cold Bay. You will dry off just a little bit more into Monday, but for areas like Dillingham and up into Bristol Bay, that's where you're sitting mostly sunny and partly cloudy. Now for South Central, again, I know I've said this a few times, but you will see a few snowflakes falling in the morning, mostly for Kenai and Homer. This is mostly true for just areas on the western side of the Kenai Peninsula. Kodiak's going to be pretty windy. Kodiak, you're going to see gusts up to 50 miles per hour, and even into Seward, this is where gusts are picking up 45 miles per hour. And you're noticing a trend, it's mostly sticking to the eastern side with these stronger wind gusts. Gusts up to 45 miles per hour into Whittier with some lingering snowflakes as well. Relatively dry though, hanging out in Valdez and even in Cordova. For the Matsu Valley, Palmer extending all the way down the Glen Highway into Anchorage. You may see some snowfall in the morning. Again, this is going to be very scattered, and it's not going to be a whole lot of accumulation, just about half an inch to an inch at most. It's not going to be a whole lot, but these temperatures are still staying on the slightly warmer side compared to what we've dealt with the last week. So high temperatures sitting at 20 degrees for Anchorage tomorrow. Gusts may pick up to 25 miles per hour, so brace for that. But again, it is going to be daylight saving time, so be sure to set your clocks forward 1 hour for tomorrow morning. It might, we lose that extra hour of sleep, but it's okay because then we get more daylight in the afternoon. So we do have some of that snow sticking around for Sunday. Gonna escape by the afternoon, but then we're gonna clear up significantly for this work week, and you're gonna notice these temperatures dropping back down to where they were last week, near 10 degrees, and even sitting just below 15 degrees, but lows in the negatives. For Fairbanks, we're clearing up just a little bit. You're going to stay mostly dry into this week. You may see some snowflakes for tomorrow morning. Drop below zero by Monday. Between 6 below zero Monday night to Tuesday, and especially getting chilly by Tuesday night and Wednesday night, sitting at 33 and 32 degrees below normal. Now for Juneau, again, more of that wet weather on the way to you for Sunday and even into Monday. We do have a chance of snow Tuesday and even Wednesday, but of course we got to keep monitoring that and see how the model datas are checking that out. But temperatures are also going to drop just slightly for you, not as cold as you have got the last week or two, but it will drop just a little bit more. So high temperatures dropping below that freezing point by Monday, carrying all the way through even into the weekend. So thank you all for bearing with me during that. That was pretty brutal for me. I tried to survive, but I also just wanted to make sure that everybody has their forecast, and if you ever need any additional information, please never hesitate to reach out. I'd love to give you your forecast and just all the details you need to know. And in the meantime, hope everybody stays healthy. That's the biggest thing. And also stay warm, especially if you are in Southeast dealing with all this snowfall. But again, brace for more cold temperatures returning for this upcoming work week. We'll have more on that forecast tomorrow, as well as a live stream of a interview that I did last week, so be prepared for that. And in the meantime, have a great rest of your night.